Reconciliation between Canada and Indigenous peoples has never been about multiculturalism, diversity, or inclusion. Reconciliation is not an affirmative action program, nor is it about adding token Indigenous peoples to communities, advisory groups, or board groups. We cannot tokenize our way out of this mess that Canada created. Real reconciliation requires truth be exposed, justice be done to make amends, and then Canada's discriminatory laws, policies, practices, and societal norms be reconciled with Indigenous rights, titles, treaties, laws, and jurisdiction. That process of truth, justice, and reconciliation will be painful. It requires a radical change. Nothing less than the transfer of land, wealth, and power to Indigenous peoples will set things right. The true test of reconciliation will be whether Canada respects the Indigenous right to say no. This piece was written in 2018. I would say that Pam predicted the future, but in reality, this is simply an observation of the way we've been treated since colonization first happened. In response to Pam's article 2 years later, we as Indigenous people are now saying that reconciliation is dead. The government has not respected the right for us to say no. I've been alive for 28 years, and all I have witnessed is conflict. Like, I'm literally sitting at my work trying to do emails while watching police officers like brutalize and beat land defenders, of which many are my friends and my family. My brother, back in Ottawa, stood at the Via Rail blockade for days on end in the cold without sleeping. So these are people I know. It's not just some nameless person. And I have to sit here and try to work after watching people get brutalized like that, and how triggered that is for me, and I'm sure for a lot of you here. And the reason they're getting arrested is because they're saying no. They don't want a pipeline. They don't want a train going past on their land. And for me, until the colonial agenda, which is to erase the original peoples of this land, like, this is not a coincidence. The fact that our reserves are under boiling water advisory, the fact that we're getting, this is not the government just making mistakes. Like, this is all deliberate, intentional practices to erase us. To erase our land rights, to erase who we are as people. It's deliberate. Like, this is not, like, people are like, oh yeah, the government's just messing up. I'm like, no, this is intentional. They want us physically dead. Like, all of us eradicated, and then they also want through paper, like, they want us also, like, gone through that, right? It's like intentional. So, until the colonial agenda, which is to erase the original peoples of this land, both physically and on paper, is completely dismantled, we will continue to resist. Poetry is the form for which we chose to resist tonight. As we share our truths with the words we've chosen, the cadence and flow, rhythms and pauses, these are the ways in which we don the regalia of our poems that speaks to who we are and our lived experience. So I'm gonna let this next poet introduce himself. Also an incredible human being who does so much work in the community. If he wants to, he can talk a little bit about hip hop in the park or all of the amazing things that he's doing, or not, up to him. But I'm gonna let this next poet introduce himself. Yes, Mega!
How's it going? I'm Kaz Mega. I am here also as an Indigenous person, but not from this land. It happens. Yes. We come from other places, and we can recognize those places, and we can recognize the people that come from those places. I just want to leave that out there. I think that I'm like a good middle ground. I got some native from Waiti Kabuli, which is also known as Dominica, the Kalinago tribe, as well as the Taínos. They're in the Caribbean. They are native people. They're the first people to come in contact with Christopher Columbus. So we've known for a while. We've known. As well, we're small. Like everything happens on an island. So they do the same thing, right? Like it's the same formula every time. Like, yeah, we're just going to this plot of land where we take all the natives out and put them all in those spaces and make them real uncomfortable, and then they kind of just let the rest. Say they're extinct. And of course, because they're extinct, we can take the land. So that's the thing they do. And I know this because it already happened on the islands, because they're smaller. So it's like, yeah, it takes like way less time to do that on like an island that's smaller than Edmonton than it takes to do on like a humongous, massive land called Canada. So I'm here to let you know, you have Indigenous blood in you. It's just not from here. And I think the more we like represent that, like, you know, I got some asshole white people blood in my life, you know, because the islands were like slave spots, right? So there were African people who came through, there were Native people already living there, and then there were white people. And you know, some of them were up to some of the asshole things, some were up to some cool things. I probably got both bloods in me, so I understand. If you're here and you're like, what do I do with this asshole blood in me? I get it, you know, there's a lot to deal with. You're like, yo, I'm here, how do I deal with this shit? And it's important to observe that, because you gotta reconcile that. When we're talking about reconciliation, to me, that's like something that you gotta reconcile. Like, you got some asshole white person blood in you, and you're here fighting for the thing against that asshole white person. And I think that's why people get so mad too, because they see that, and they're like, oh, they're confronted with like, oh shit, the asshole white person that I pretend doesn't exist. He's there. But you gotta confront him. You gotta confront this person. So a lot of my art is about that. I'm co-founder of a group called Hip Hop in the Park, a foundation. But mostly because we did a party in the park, and they were like, "You need to have permits and stuff." And we're like, "Oh, so we got registered as a nonprofit." We've been a nonprofit now for 13 years. Mostly just trying to figure out community things in real time. Hip hop is super dope as far as like, I think the most articulated I can express it is that we have like intergenerational trauma. I believe that hip hop culture is like the intergenerational like hacks that like your ancestors figured out over time, and then you got to like keep and you put them together, and it's about sharing those hacks. So I'm gonna start a hip hop set. Is that cool with everybody? Yeah. I'm gonna need crowd participation. I should have let you know before this. When I say fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt them, soak them, you're gonna say, wanna fight? And you gotta say it fast, like, wanna fight? Like, wanna fight? Like, kind of aggressive. Like, I don't tell people that enough, and they're like, what if? And the beat's too fast, and they're like, it's like, yeah, you missed it though. So like, fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt them, soak them. See, that was still like, the beat's fast. It's like, wanna fight? What if I? Yeah, okay. Fill it, lock it, pump it, and squeeze it, squirt them, soak them. Yeah, okay. And this is about like water defenders fighting against people defenders over like bodies of water, like bridges, getting hosed down by water, getting pepper sprayed, and having to use like Dasani water to like wash their eyes out. It's all just, you know, great big water fight. Yeah. So we're going to practice with the beat. Fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt them, soak them. Yeah, we got it. Pretty good. Okay? We're gonna do it one more time, and then I'm gonna start rapping fast. Fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt them, soak them. I was gonna hit them with the flow. Flowing in infinity be cleaner. Sipping what you filtration, oh, I'm slicing with the Fukushima. My water pressure busting through your dam, and y'all give a damn about a beaver. Super soaking blood into the land, and fighting over water by the leader. I was gonna fill a rubber sack of water, slap it on your masses on your soaker, but you breathe into a tube, boy. I was gonna spit on your prior little body, literally dripping on me, sucking soaking by the pool toys. Walk on water, heat the spot, heat the sun of who, boy? A couple of hydrogens, oxygens, take them to the block again to take them back to school. I was gonna hit them with the really violent 50-gallon pistol challenges, challenge, bucket challenge, splash challenge. I was gonna switch styles, switch around, with the styles, spit it out, dip about the better back down. I was gonna water, put the shirt, it's the United, switch it out your pants. I was gonna ride you to try so I fast, I like to tweet it and everybody, all my business friends out. Selfish, product of aquatic, hashtag thirsty, mostly made of water. We are the apocalypse, it's just how we were brought up. Fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt up, soak it. Creator's gonna trouble these waters. Wade in the Okay, so this is kind of like my land acknowledgement. Oh, I need your help with this one too. Rats. So this one I'm gonna say West Side. You're gonna say Six Side. Treaty 6. That's what we're representing. I love it. I love the irony in all of it. Like this is just filled with like that energy of like wow. Because I love watching like politicians be like, I want to acknowledge land wrong. And then right after that go into like, so these people on this land. And it's just like, wow. So this is kind of just like a parody of that, I would say. We are Treaty 6. Drake's all about his 6 side because they got, I don't even get it. It's like they got an area code twice. Because there's also like 6 Nation out there. Anyways, we're the West Side, 6 Side. So, West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side.
6 Side.
Okay, now you're ready. Yeah. A skippity boo, skippity bebop, a hip hop bebop. Catch me bustin' sea-walks, crossing treetops, bumping that P-rock. I reminisce, man. What the hell is this, man? I miss bumping this stuff in my system. I put my fist up while I listen, absorbing the message in it. No gimmick, so it's lasting more than a minute when I finish. I feel it in my digits. I grab a pen and paper and a pad and I hit it. I swear I'm the sickest. Try it this, get dismissed quick out of existence, off my hit list. Switch it, body slam your back through the earth that you came through. Reverse birth, C-section that rename you. But I can't really blame you. The government banks and media seem to hate you. When they pay schools, you pay dues, and you have kids, and they need shoes, and you bleed too. If the ones with 3s and 2s, vehicles, fly them to the market just to watch the market melt down. West Side, West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side.
6 Side.
My DJ's supposed to come in here. But we talking about that West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side.
6 Side.
Yeah. Treaty 6. Yo, when's the last time y'all heard him spit it like this? I'm just trying to bring it back to that flyness. I guess call us your highness at -5, 6 eyelids. Ice, why it's nicest when I spit. I've been raised in an environment with harsh enlightenment. With highlights up through trials of fire, you learn to write with light in it. Signing my name is Zeus, fighting titans, yielding lightning. Sight with my light, third eyesight, birds eye flight. The Pontius Pilate of office filing. Except I'm often smiling, love doing the job provided. Out of kindness, I'm not trying to change the climate, climb the highest states in mind and not redesign it. Don't be blinded by everything that's shining gold and diamonds, especially that honest slime, iridescent violence, black gold retirement. To Rick Piggies to settle down, thought you leave your mark, instead you watch your market melt down like West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side.
6 Side.
We in the Treaty 6. Treaty 6. What's Toronto know about the 6? I be talking about that West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side.
6 Side.
Yeah, with all the hooping and the hollering, thinking that you're ballin' when don't know about Marley, Marler, even Parliament. So you faking the funk, stacking the bread in the bakery truck. You ain't taking it up, you just making it up. Wish you participated enough, but you participated it up. Printed the clubs, participated all into the clubs, class and bars. Rain on your parade, rain go away. Please come back another day, or rain something down on the brother's supper plate. Cause these little pigs had those beeps, and we was the one who put us. We was giving the pigs and stuff at the rats, we be keeping the plugs. Armor on boards fell, born for board styles. Resistance futile, unless I'll be finding a new style. But nobody wants to do that. Cause there's a lot more money in these mother goose rappers, pigs with big wigs trying to blow my house down. Brought the market to us just to watch the market melt down. West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side,
6 Side,
West Side.
6 Side.
Yarr. That is all I got. Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. People are like, what do you want us to do? I'm like, I don't know, just like do a poem or something. and then Cass is like, I'm doing like a music thing. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I was like, what? Okay, cool beans. I'm just like, mind blown. This is gonna be like the highlight of probably my year, this event tonight. So we're gonna have another poet. So our next poet up is Ty. So Ty is Nahewa Anishinaabe, second year Sundancer. They're studying towards being an addictions and mental health counselor for youth. Ty understands that the RCMP needs to get the fuck off native land, and that Trudeau is a walking eagle. He is so full of shit, he can't fly. Give it up for Ty!
Cool. Can you hear me in the back? Yeah? Over here too?
Yeah.
Cool. Ty, Nisigasan, Onisichis Pupone, Igwa, Muscal Notenia, Aganach, Rigazi Toro. From Saddle Lake and Muscogin First Nations, and I'm Baldy So yeah, what I want to talk a little bit about too, who's familiar with Tiny House Warriors? Yeah.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, okay, they're like some like badass Indigenous women, Sequemic women who are occupying their unceded territory in the mountains like 6 hours away from here, and they're defying the reserve system and ensuring that a man camp does not get set on their territory, protecting and reducing the violence of women, violence that's going to go towards women by stopping this man camp. They do it every day. They've committed their lives to this. They face arrest, they face criminalization, they face harassment, they have to deal with like the Wet'suwet'en people, the RCMP developed, I forget exactly what the acronym stands for, but it's a surge team, which is like an RCMP unit specially trained to deal with land rights struggles like in the interior of BC, because there's so many of them, and because it's all unceded territory. So these brave, mostly women, like face this colonial violence and colonial oppression like every day. The risk is there, they are ready, and they stand up and fight it, and they support people at the same time. They're some of the kindest, most loving, most caring, fierce, like people that I've ever met. And yeah, you can follow them on Instagram, Cannabis Tattoos, I believe that's their Instagram handle. Follow them online, like they're constantly doing stuff. And the summer's gonna be heating up. But yeah, so I've been a poet, I guess, for like 3-4 years. It was wild to go through some of my old stuff, go through my old books, and like remember where I was at then. And yeah, but here we go. With a crossbow on my back, bannock in my kit, and an axe on my hip. In a thronaman, mio pimachisoin. Past the sound of gravel crushed, past quad tracks and spiked wire. Imskaman, mio pimachisoin. Atop a hill smothered under snow, away from carefully crafted disparity, away from settler society, I connect with the land, Kaputagao. I begin to think clearly, place myself in history, connect my family's existence to Canada's crimes. Like NERD said, the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off. This is a little bit contentious. This next one, this is about like the Humboldt thing. I thought it was like pretty fucking ridiculous one day when I was walking down the street, and there was like I swear like hundreds of people walking downtown, and they're all like wearing like little green gold ribbons, and I was just like, what the fuck? Yeah. 16 dead on accident, thousands targeted. More green gold ribbons than red dresses. Days of coverage for what? Solidarity to end the systemic oppression of 18-wheelers attacking hockey players? Maybe the sudden violent deaths of 16 Canadians is more easy to deal with than the slow, painful, intended death of Tina Fontaine. The public Canadian collective conscience appears to give more fucks about accidents than the deliberate targeting of Indigenous females. Maybe in this Euro-Canadian majority country, Canadians follow their predecessors' indifference to natives. I have this like few things I wrote, like it's like I used to live in a group home, And so I understand what it's like to be kind of like forced into poverty and a special place in Canadian society where kids are often neglected. And I grew up in that, and so sometimes when I'm walking down the street or even sitting here and I see like a little crowd of like group home kids walking by, and I'm just like, fuck, like I feel you. And sometimes I just get like, I get sad because there's times I'm like at like Tim Hortons and like I'm seeing like these young like girls being like stared at by these men who clearly aren't having their best interests in them. But sometimes I find like just writing about it helps and kind of like puts into pieces for me. It helps me find peace. I feel like just be able to like attach it to like, you know, the machines of colonialism and the history of colonialism. Young Native teens on the streets, the perfect prey for predators. Vulnerable, naive, already has a tolerance for what they're about to receive. Displaced, abused, forced into cycles that started before they were born. Too busy surviving to learn how to grow, too busy surviving to learn how to code. 15-year-old meth boy, guided by thuggish intentions, spends school time on the streets, soliciting shards to those who look like they need, ready to stab any fucker that wants to take what he's got. So that's that book. Yeah, I got some of my stuff published too. This is one of the poems. To war we go, get ready to count coup. Warrior spirit awaken, get ready to count coup. Our relations need protection. Our communities incarcerated, free as a buffalo in a fenced pasture. In the name of the Father, Son, and colonial system, it's time to organize the rebellion. Action by action, spur your mental revolution. Warrior women rise, the men will follow. Two spirits lead the way, free us from gendered oppression. Get ready to count coup. Our children are being taken at the invaders' discretion. Their systems eat our children, spit out grouped home teams on the streets across from jails. Politics, territories, aquatic reservoirs, economics, indigenous societies under Canadian arms, mace, batons, guns, cops, violence embedded in law. No eviction from Una Stoughton unless the RCMP intervene heavily armed. No means no, yet pipelines pass through. No means no, yet Native children become a resource to exploit. Without CFS, many would be unemployed. Empty apologies arrive after the fact. We need to act before the fact. Why do we let the status quo remain? Why do we let settlers in business have the final say? So this one I wrote, I was in Batosh, it was Osoyoos for the Walking with Your Sisters thing. It's like the combination of like years of work from like Christy Belfort and tons, like innumerable amounts of women across this part of Turtle Island. And it's, I don't know if you're all familiar with like the vamps and stuff that was all gathering. And it was like so amazing, like the week after Sundance to be able to go there and help out at this ceremony in Batosh. And so it was like, you know, after like 4 days of like sun dancing, only taking like 2 days break and going back into this like really intense place. It was just like wild. So I ended up like writing some stuff. Head spinning, rotating in the sun, rays pierce my flesh, darkening in skin, race to the truth, fast away from comfort, pace, dehydration, exhaustion, and prayerful focus. Between the sharp hisses of Nochum's eagle whistle, clan identity imbues weary limbs with power. Eagle fans glide consciousness higher and higher. I am an eagle, flying above the arbor. Far below is my people and tide. A sociological perspective awakened, my place within our resurgence offered. A distance from tide's trauma, given new views of tide, bestowed. Visions of pathways to Indigenous sovereignties, free from Canadian authoritarian systems, are conceived in bliss. Heal the trauma within, learn the teachings, earn the honor of a pipe, empower the people with ceremony, community, knowledge. Live the 7 teachings, turn internalized racism into history, lessons of racial hierarchies. As my son's scorched body collapses on the turtle's back, my mind affixes the armless Ogamawatik. Community prayer ties, every cloth flitter that flies, catches my eyes like the rouge edges of too many red dresses, linked by ratios of access for settlement and resource. No, nehea, no tene, no mikma, just aboriginal. Systems of dehumanizing make it easy to dismiss, throw fists, kidnap kids, toss sacred femmes in a ditch. Systems of dehumanizing normalized, often televised. Stereotypical images conserved by media, poisoning minds like tar sands poison water. Reconciliation is rad to some. I'm not a reconciliation. I'm not a reconciliation Indian. Decolonial dreams drift through hazy awareness. We will heal. We will have modern Indigenous societies. Nation by nation, we will have sovereignty over our bodies and lives. Be free from an environmentally destructive capitalist dependency. Regain food sovereignty. Our cultural resurgence is necessary to save Mother Earth. Just have to break free of this Canadian culture. Individuals and institutions hold hate and fear for our facial features. Our dark skin seems to permit violence, social and otherwise. Living decolonial theory, growing my mind, song by song, healing colonial wrongs, decolonizing blood memory and ceremony. Ceremony is doula, birthing, nurturing, stoking our fires. Together we burn brightly, making a new nation, releasing the tire that oft accompanies trauma. 4 days of hunger and thirst for this. Yeah, so this one I just finished today. Done? Okay, late. Okay, cool. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for supporting. Yeah, thanks to the organizers.
Amazing. Whew, just wow. Thank you. All right, so next up we have Sage. So Sage is an Indigenous Métis woman who lives in Amaskwachi, Waskagan. She has been published in the local Edmonton Stroll of Poets anthology. What? Her work is inspired by her culture, her life, and the stories that have shaped her. Give it up for Sage!
Thank you for having that faith in me. Tansi, hello, salut et bonsoir. Merci beaucoup de me recevoir. Thank you so much for having me tonight. As Dave put it earlier today, when we share our stories, when we share our languages and our culture, we create ceremony, we create sacred space. I have 2 pieces for you tonight, and the first one is just of that. We gather here for sacred ceremonies, where the old medicines have been performed before us. We gather here for sacred ceremonies, where the Great Spirit walks among us. We gather here for sacred ceremonies, where our honored land grounds us. Hi, hi. Alrighty, so I made a call out poem on colonization. Personally, I feel like I'm able to do this because I am Métis and well family's French and white, and half my family is Native. So what we have to remember is when it comes to speaking about colonization, when it comes to speaking about people on this land, our heritage is either Indigenous, refugee, or immigrant, or a basis of all three. So respecting the people is respecting all of us, no matter where we come from, because we are what makes Canada, we are what makes this land. So please forgive me. Dear colonizers, we are the proof that you could not eradicate us, and God knows you tried. As you placed us on the lands that you assigned us, like a herd of cattle in our pens, we paced around knowing those walls were our prisons. Confined in the schools you forced us into by stealing our children like thieves in the night, just so you could wash the Indian out of their skins. Starving our children with your lack of food, force-fed firewater just to sate their hunger. Unknowing victims forced into alcoholism just to survive your internment camps because you were the Weetigos we feared slowly devouring us until there was nothing left. But now, you are a new generation. You who claims respect and understanding as you love and accept our cultures, our stories, our garbs, yet not wanting to understand us. You celebrate our way of life, yet stop dead in fear when faced by our very presence. The fear of the drunken Indian that stands before you. As you cling to your crosses, hoping your God will protect you from your own creation, like Frankenstein cowering underneath the weight of his monster, the monster we never wanted to become. So you justify your racism by blaming us, yet willfully ignoring your own history, shooting us executioner style and getting away Stanley free. Colonizers, we see you. Hi, hi.
Thank you so much, Steve. So we are down to that last poet of the night. So the last poet to grace us with lyrical mastery is Winnipeg Wallace. Born in Edmonton, perfected in Winnipeg, and humbled in Vancouver, Winnipeg Wallace eventually returned to his Alberta home with a dream to show the city what he has become and to show the whole world what he loves the most. Mainly beautiful poetry and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Give it up for Winnipeg Wallace!
Hello, I'm not much of a talker between poems. In this dream, I imagine my mom as a canola field spread over the western prairies. So elegant, golden, and home. A soul both born and now resting in a familiar soil. Willing to hand over everything for just one kiss to heal the broken fingers that discovered it. My mother is an unkissed shoreline, or she used to be. My father is a tree with the roots ripped out and sent into the wind. My father is a ship, wood chopped apart and put back together. My father is a monster in this way. I call him Frankenstein, as if he himself were responsible for the uneasiness resting in the pit of my stomach every time his white hands lay claim to land birthed on the ruptured spine of my Indigenous mother. My mother calls me Boo. My father kicks in the door to my bedroom like a jump scare. Now I understand why. This bedroom that I hide in does not belong to me anymore. My mother becomes a dream catcher, hanging above my unmade bed, and I am choking on the string. My mother tells me she loves me, and then offers me up to my father's sky. An unbeatable ocean of blue sailed across by the white clouds. My father is a mountain, the first man to challenge the whole world and have it bend to his will, or so he tells me. My father is a story, really. One hidden in our family for generations. My father once told me of his grandfather, a man who played follow the leader to the death of millions, said the whole world could have been theirs if only they had taken Russia. So I asked him, Dad, how do we know when to stop taking? And he placed his warm, pale hands on the railroad platform of my shoulders, looked deep into my ocean blue eyes and said, son, we are settlers in a world that is ours if we want it. Take everything. Okay, one last one for you guys here. My mother loves to sing. She's the one who taught me about Pink Floyd and Janis Joplin, you know? Once, she told me about all the songs her Indigenous family would sing to her when she was young. How she stays awake at night still trying to remember the tune. Songs from a lost generation, she says. A land now kept outside of town. I tell her it must have been so beautiful. My mother, now blanketed in my father's German culture, still loves to dance. At the Royal Alberta Museum, she sways herself inside of a display TV. She wonders if she dances until she drops, will they just build another church on top of her bones? Mom, you taught me to pray, but only to the Creator they provided you. Who do I look for in the skies now? The stars, a map our people once used to find home. Can you hear me? Does my Kukum even still understand this tongue? Have the ancestors taken her back home? To her land, her language, taken from her years ago? Tell me, is my body 50% oppression or 50% white flag waving for surrender? It's funny, to this day, I am only ever taught about one of my cultures, even though both of them once looked over a land, raised their hand, and claimed it as their own. But that is the difference. Mom, do I tell them of the land we claimed before them? How it cradled our people in the winter and taught them to survive? Mom, what even is my land? Which land birthed me from its soil? Or rather, which soil did we run away from, running from people like me? Hear me, because I'm asking you this. Am I both killer and the killed? Is the blood on my hands someone else's or my own? Mom, is this my punishment? Have my people turned 6 million to ash, and now your culture must follow? Return to a soil slipped damp with the blood of a family I leave behind. Mother, does the bleach clean the clothing? when the color fades, am I just expected to wear them? Will it make me perfect? Am I clean? Pure? So shiny. And the white?
So I want to say Chimigwech, hi to everyone that came out tonight. You being here, you sharing space with us, we really made our ancestors proud tonight. And I'm really grateful for all of you for being here. So I was recently gifted this song from Marjorie Bocage, who's a Two-Spirit elder from Treaty 4. So with a group of women over 20 years ago, they birthed this song. And it speaks to traveling between spaces, going from a difficult time to a better time. And I hope it speaks to your hearts, all of you who are listening, that one day the government will end their tyranny and Indigenous sovereignty can be once more. Wipe down your tables, push your chairs in, pretend this is your house, all right? The Nook Cafe has been so generous. Their staff has been so amazing. Please give a big round of applause to Lindsay and all of the staff here at this cafe. Feel free to take the papers that are on your tables home, photocopy them, scan them, send them to your coworkers.